Hello, everyone, and welcome back to English Practice Lab. I'm John.
And I'm Sarah. And today we're diving into something that I personally believe is the single most underrated skill in English learning.
Ooh, strong claim. What is it?
Connecting your sentences, linking your ideas, making everything flow.
Okay, I'll give you that. Because honestly, the difference between someone who sounds basic and someone who sounds fluent, a huge part of it comes down to exactly this.
Right. You can have a strong vocabulary. You can know your grammar. But if every sentence you write or say sounds like a separate island, no bridges, no connections, you're gonna sound choppy, robotic almost.
Like a list instead of a conversation.
Exactly. So in today's episode, we're going to give you the tools, the actual words and phrases to connect your ideas smoothly. And we're going to do it in a way that's practical, memorable, and immediately useful.
Whether you're writing an email, preparing for an exam, having a conversation, or giving a presentation, this episode is going to level you up. So let's get into it.
Okay, John, let me give you two versions of the same thing, and I want you to tell me which one sounds better.
Hit me.
Version 1, I studied English for 3 years. My English is not perfect. I keep practicing. I want to improve. I will take an exam next month.
Okay, that's rough. It sounds like someone just listing their diary entries.
Now, version 2. Although I've been studying English for 3 years, my English isn't perfect yet. However, I keep practicing because I want to improve. And next month, I'm taking an exam.
Night and day. The second one sounds like a real confident speaker, and the information is exactly the same. You just connected the dots.
That's the magic of linking words and sentence connectors. They don't change what you say, they change how it sounds when you say it.
And the good news is, you don't need a huge list of fancy words. You just need to understand the types of connection, and then pick the right tool for the job.
So, let's walk through the main categories. There are 5 that I think every learner needs to master.
The first type is the one you probably already use, and maybe overuse a little.
The word and.
The word and. Now, and is perfectly fine, but when you're writing or speaking at an intermediate level and above, you want more variety. So, instead of and for everything, we can use also. She speaks Spanish. She also speaks a little French. In addition, the course is affordable. In addition, it's flexible. Furthermore, the report was late. Furthermore, it contains several errors. Moreover, he's qualified. Moreover, he has years of experience.
Now, a quick note here. Furthermore and moreover are a bit more formal. You'll see them more in written English, essays, reports, professional emails. In everyday spoken conversation, also and plus are your best friends.
Plus is very casual, but very natural. Like, I don't feel like cooking tonight. Plus, the fridge is basically empty.
See? Totally natural. So choose based on the situation. All right. Type 2, contrast connectors. These are the ones that say, yes, but on the other hand.
And these are incredibly powerful because real communication almost always involves two sides of something. An argument, a comparison, a dilemma.
The most common ones, but. Simple, direct, works in almost any situation. However, a step up from but, more formal, great for writing. Although, or even though, these connect two ideas within one sentence. On the other hand, perfect for comparing two viewpoints. Whereas, great for pointing out a clear difference between two things.
Let me show you how although and however differ in practice. Both show contrast, but the structure changes. Although the movie was long, I enjoyed every minute of it. One sentence. Although at the start. The movie was long. However, I enjoyed every minute of it. 2 sentences. However, after a full stop.
So, although glues two clauses together, however keeps them separate, but creates a bridge. Both are correct. It depends on the rhythm you want.
And whereas is brilliant for comparisons. She prefers working alone, whereas her colleague loves teamwork. You've instantly painted a contrast between two people.
Now we're getting into the connectors that really show logical thinking. Type 3, cause and effect.
These are the words that explain why something happened, or what happened as a result, and they're essential, not just in academic writing, but in everyday explanations.
Think about how often you explain reasons in daily life. I was late because of traffic. It rained, so the match was canceled. That's cause and effect happening in real time. Here are the key ones to know. Because, since, and as. These introduce the reason. I left early because I had a meeting. Since it was getting late, we decided to leave. So, therefore, as a result, and consequently. These introduce the result. I missed the bus, so I took a taxi. She trained hard every day. As a result, she won the competition. A tip here, therefore and consequently sound more formal and deliberate. They signal that you're drawing a conclusion. So is much more casual and conversational, and it's perfectly fine to use it in both speaking and writing.
Due to is another one, but be careful. Due to is followed by a noun or noun phrase, not a full clause. So you say, the delay was due to bad weather, not the delay was due to it was raining.
That's a classic mistake. Great point.
Type 4 is one of the most practical in everyday communication, sequencing connectors. These help you organize your ideas in a logical order, especially when you're giving instructions, telling a story, or explaining a process.
Think about the last time you explained how to do something to someone. You probably naturally said words like first, then, after that, finally. Those are your sequence connectors.
The core set, first, or first of all, to kick things off, then, next, or after that, to move the story or process forward, meanwhile, for two things happening at the same time, finally, lastly, or in the end, to wrap things up.
Let's put them into action. If you want to make a great cup of tea, first, bring the water to a full boil. Then, pour it over your tea bag and let it steep for about 3 minutes. Meanwhile, you can warm up your mug. Finally, add milk or sugar to taste and enjoy.
That flows perfectly. You know exactly what order to do things in. No confusion.
And in storytelling, first, everything was going well. Then, out of nowhere, things took a turn. Finally, we managed to sort it all out, but it wasn't easy.
Satisfying structure every time.
And our fifth type, conclusion connectors. These are the phrases that signal, okay, I'm wrapping this up now. Here's my final point.
They're important because they give your listener or reader a sense of closure. You're not just stopping, you're landing the plane.
The most useful ones, in conclusion or to conclude, very formal, great for essays and presentations. To sum up, or in summary, slightly more neutral, works in both formal and informal contexts. Overall, or all in all, more conversational, a bit softer. In short, or briefly, when you want to give a quick version of your main point.
In a podcast or conversation, you'd probably say, overall, today's episode was about, rather than in conclusion. Because in conclusion can sound a bit stiff if you're just chatting.
Context is everything. Match the connector to the situation.
Okay, let's talk about the mistakes. Because knowing the connectors is one thing, using them correctly is another.
Mistake number 1, starting every single sentence with a connector.
Yes, we've all seen essays that go firstly, secondly, thirdly, furthermore, moreover, in addition, in conclusion. Like every single sentence has a connector.
It becomes noise. The connectors stop meaning anything because they're everywhere. The rule of thumb? Use connectors with purpose, not as decoration.
Mistake number 2, mixing formal and informal connectors in the same piece of writing.
If you're writing a formal report and you suddenly drop in a casual plus or so, it jars the reader. And the opposite is also true. Using furthermore and moreover in a casual text message to your friend is just odd.
Hey, are you coming tonight? Moreover, the restaurant has great reviews. No.
Please don't. Match the tone.
Mistake number 3, forgetting punctuation. This one trips so many people up.
So the rule is when you start a new sentence with a connector like however, therefore, or in addition, you put a comma after it. However, the results were different from what we expected. However, the results were different, missing that comma.
And if you're using however or therefore in the middle of a sentence, you need a semicolon before and a comma after, like this. The weather was terrible. However, we still had a great time.
Punctuation matters, especially in written English. It signals to the reader how to read the rhythm of your sentence.
All right, let's bring everything together with a real-life mini conversation. Listen for the connectors. See how many you can spot.
So, how did the client presentation go yesterday?
Honestly, it started a bit rocky because the projector wasn't working. However, we adapted quickly and just talked the client through the proposal directly. In addition, I think that actually made it feel more personal. Overall, they seemed really interested, so I'm cautiously optimistic.
Did you catch them all? Because, cause and effect. However, contrast. In addition, adding information. Overall and so, summary and result. Although, contrast within one sentence.
All used naturally, all in context. That's the goal. Not memorizing a list, but absorbing these tools so they come out naturally when you speak and write. Let's close with your cheat sheet. 5 types, quick version.
Adding information. Also, in addition, furthermore, moreover, plus. Contrast. But. However, although, whereas, on the other hand. Cause and effect. Because, since, so, therefore, as a result, due to. Sequence. First, then, next, meanwhile, finally. Conclusion. In conclusion, to sum up, overall, in short.
Screenshot it. Write it on a sticky note. Whatever it takes.
And that's a wrap on today's episode. I genuinely hope this changes how you approach your speaking and writing in English.
Your challenge this week? Write 5 sentences about your day and use at least one connector from each category. Then share it in the comments. We want to see what you come up with.
If this episode helped you, please hit that like button and share it with someone who's learning English. It makes a huge difference.
Subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you in the next one.
Keep connecting those ideas and keep growing. Bye for now.